what you need to do is start taking yourself into the steps that we have, right? What's the truth? The truth is it's not a big deal. Truth is you're making a big deal, but it's not a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. So this is how it works. This is teaching you right now, like the world, the universe, life, God, whatever you want to call it, is giving you a lesson. It's helping you, even though it doesn't feel like help. Like our lessons don't feel like help. They're going to feel like it's torture. They're going to feel, you're going to get emotional because it's practice. This is your practice. This is real life. This is what happens in real life. Just because we don't want something doesn't mean we're going to get it that way. Okay? And so we have to understand that there are other things in this world that happen that really have nothing to do with us, but can come into our little zone, right? And it's not our problem, but it can affect us if we allow it to. Okay? So anytime we live with someone else, even if you don't live with someone else, trust me, you're going to have things coming because the world is teaching you. And you have no choice in that. Right? We don't have a choice in it. Life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. There's no option in that. Now people are, well, what if I just kill myself and get out of here? Well, guess what happens? Yes, you get it again. There's no escaping. The only way to escape is to start doing it inside your own self. And then what happens is when you start the process of speaking truth, okay, so your situation, the truth about your situation is not going to last forever, number one, right? Short time. That's a very short time, right? And it's not hurting you. The truth is it's not hurting you. It's really not. And so if you look at things like that and start telling yourself complete truth, I'm just aggravated because I have no control over it. So I'm just going to let it go. I mean, that's the truth. Sorry. It's okay. So as things happen in our life, if we start using the tools, this is great. Even though it doesn't feel great, whenever we have challenges, think of them as opportunities because they are opportunities. You will never learn anything if you don't have some kind of, obstacle that comes in and you learn how to deal with it.
I just posted about this exact thing. It was the thing about God, though. It said, if you ask God for patience, He doesn't just give you patience, He gives you the opportunity to have patience in a situation.
Yes, you have to, and this is how, but it's not just an opportunity. You have to actually take the tools you have and use them.
See, it's the lie that, for me, that I've told myself is that there's an arriving point where we don't have to go through all of this.
That's not a lie. There is a point where it's not a challenge for you to go through those things, to think about, okay, what's the truth in this situation? There will, if you practice, but you can't expect for it to happen like this when you're not practicing,
It's this kind of like this imagination world that that you have or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That you wake up today and the sun's going to be out and the flowers are going to look at you.
The sun is out. The flowers are.
And it's just kind of.
But listen,
The
I-
universe will always be there teaching us lessons.
yes, but it's not going, you get to a point if you do the practice, like if you practice at like speaking truth to yourself. The problem is nobody's practicing speaking truth. Okay, I'm going to say that because that's the problem. And it's a big problem all around the world, not just here in this classroom. It's a problem because everybody is telling their self a lie. And then they believe that lie. And then they marinate that lie and they go into suffering. And they get angry and they get frustrated. This is what happens, is it not?
And I had, like you say, I've had 3 months of that because every time Kim would ask me, because she wouldn't let me lie to myself, and I'd go and talk to her, and there would be something that I would be upset about that might be going on back home, or I have no control over, and she would say, "Are you speaking truth to yourself?" And I would say, "Yes," and she would look at me, "No, you're not." And
I
I'm
would
like,
say, are you?
and I'm like, "Yes, I am." And she said, "No, think about it." And I had to, and it was a struggle sometimes.
And
to
I'm
look
going to
inside
say,
myself.
you see, he had me in his ear every single day. And still, when he came back, he forgot to do his practice every day. And immediately, suffering started. This is what happened.
But I didn't
telling
think it was suffering. I thought I was fine. And Kim would call me. She said, "What's going on?" And I would be saying, "Nothing, I'm fine." And she would say, "Are you speaking truth?" And I would be like, "Yes." She said, "Did you practice today?" And I would be like, "A little bit." But I
And
wouldn't.
see,
I
everybody
wouldn't read,
always says the
I
same
would read.
things.
but I wouldn't meditate. And she would say, "Well, get comfortable with the uncomfortable because the world's not going to stop." And I didn't like it when she would say, "But I don't want to get." So I told her, I said, "Why do I have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable?"
That's where it's like at the point where I'm like, everybody else just seems, and I know this is not true, but
Mhm.
when you're in your ego, it really feels like, especially this past days, everyone else just seems a-okay with the situation. Why am I the one that is upset about it?
Because this is your journey.
Yeah.
This is your lesson.
Yeah.
It's not Zach's lesson.
Yeah.
It's your lesson. And in order for it not to bother you, you have to take your lesson and look at it as a lesson.
I don't know because this is new of actually trying to be okay with the
Mhm.
situation, because usually I just visit them out.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it looks like to be okay with this situation. So
I think that's a story that you're telling yourself.
because part of me is like, okay, I can be okay with her at the house, right? And her being there and everything like that. And I can just not be involved.
Mhm.
But I'm like, is that the right thing to do? Is to
No,
be okay with it?
Listen to what you're telling yourself. Okay. Honestly, you have to be completely 100% honest with yourself without telling yourself it's okay for me not to be honest with myself. And what's happening is you're telling yourself something that you know isn't a truth. You know that it's not okay to just ignore people.
Yeah.
You know that's not
I know it's not okay to
Right.
ignore.
right. You know that.
Yeah.
And so this is the lie that we tell ourselves. Oh, I'll just go and won't pay any attention and then I'll be free. No, embrace it. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Embrace it. Listen, when we have no choice, right? Because there are times when we're in situations where we can't go anywhere or there's nothing we can do about it. So that is your practice time. That's your practice time. Look, you got 2 more days to practice. And what I mean by practice is take your sheets out that you have, that I've given to everybody more than one time,
Yeah.
right? That nobody ever looks at when they need it. right? I'm speaking truth, right? Nobody has their sheets hanging on their mirror. So when they first get up in the morning and go to brush their teeth, they see truth, you know, right? Do you guys do that? Do you get up in the morning and go through the list of tools that you have? No, nobody does it, but you expect to be free from suffering. How is that going to happen? Yeah.
I have an app. It's called Better Health Me,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, every morning that I go to work, first thing sitting there letting my equipment warm up. I actually do listen to meditation sessions,
Well, that's good.
and I found that it's actually been helping.
Yes, it does help.
And
Plus, in the evenings, I've been reading a chapter out of a book that showed up in the mail of Holy Moments.
So it's been helping. You've been doing something. And I have books. If you guys want something to read, I got books for you. You know, and they're life changers.
And I will say this about those books that Kim's talking about, because she loaded me up with what, because I had books that we'd already gotten, and I was like, Kim, why do I need more books? But in the books she gave me, the answers to what you're going through, and I don't know the whole story, but I hear what you're saying, because I learned and I read, and I told Kim, I said, it seems like every time I go to read something in one of these books, it gives me the answer that I need. And everything, and I learned this, and I'm not by any means, y'all saw it the other week, I'm nowhere near perfect, but I learned that, and this is where I got to be okay with the things, because I told Kim the same thing. I was like, how come I have to be always the one to change? How come I always have to? And it was my ego, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to.
I'm right there. I
Because
don't
was-
want to.
Right,
Yes.
that's where the ego is
But
involved. And I
this
let
is
go of it,
this
but
is what
everything's a
happens.
test.
Okay. You say you don't want to let go of it.
I would love for this whole situation to be done with. Oh, that I
Yes.
would love to let go.
Yes.
I don't want to have to all of a sudden be okay with.
What choice do you have?
I can suffer it out for 2
Yes.
days.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is our choices. You can do whatever you want to. Everybody in this world can do whatever they want to. That everybody has that option. Okay? But if you want peace in your life, there's only one way to get it.
Do you?
Huh?
Do you?
Do yourself.
Well, and I
But-
listened to what she just said. I'll suffer through it for the next. Why make yourself suffer?
Right.
Don't suffer
This is-
through it.
There's only, you can suffer or you cannot
Yeah.
suffer.
Yeah.
You have choices. You have two choices. And it's up to you which choice you want to make. What do you want to do? You want to continue to suffer for 2 days, or do you want to let it go and let it be?
And more than likely, it's not for 2 days, because I find that if I say, okay, I can suffer through this situation, the next situation has got a little more of this in it and a little more extra that it's, what is the truth in that? 'Cause
But
the truth
here's the
doesn't
thing.
ever- I can't
One
outrun
thing
myself.
Right.
that we talked about earlier is like, and you talked about like, I don't like sharing my space with animals. I just don't. And I feel like I have to become okay with that.
They're everywhere.
And the thing is, like, I make the choices
And-
for myself to
Yes, you
to
did.
not.
Yes, you did. But you live in a world where there are animals,
Yeah.
and they will show up in your life.
Yeah, and that song that you were playing as we were sitting here,
Uh-huh.
and the
It's not like
things,
I'm
and
asking for
it's
ill
going
will.
through, it's, when you're going through that, it's, it talks about, I'm sending loving kindness to myself, and loving kindness to myself is a very complex onion.
It is a
And then-
complex onion.
And then the next step is I'm going to send that to my family, and then to my teacher. Then I'm going to send it to every breathing thing. But beyond all of those things, I'm going to send it to my enemies and those people I have hard things. So, and it's that complex onion, and it's really, first it's me, and then it's the
Yes,
family,
but
and then
look,
it's-
I don't want you to focus on anybody else. I don't want
Yeah.
anybody in here to focus on anybody else. I don't want you to focus on anybody else. And the reason I don't want you to focus on anybody else is because your well-being has nothing to do with anyone else. Okay? And you're here trying to get out of suffering. Am I correct in that? That's what everybody's here for, to learn how not to suffer in this crazy world that we're in. The only way not to suffer is to get this understanding inside your own self. That's what you have to do now. Because what will happen if you do it for yourself and you understand it inside yourself, all that other stuff that you were just talking about is automatic. It automatically happens. But you have to do, now, I don't want to get sidetracked. This is important because here we are, we're on the cusp of understanding everything. Like everybody in this room is right there on this cusp. And what is happening is not happening by chance. It's happening because the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, it makes no difference what anybody calls it to me. What's happening is it's giving you a hand and you don't realize that it's giving you that hand. You know, it's like somebody drowning and we reach down to give them a hand to bring them out of the water. And they're like, no, give me that stick over there, you know, and you're like, but no, I have a hand I'm going to give you. And no, give me that.
Yeah.
But I would have to let go of you in order to do that. You understand? So here we are, you're in your own mind saying things to yourself, right? Now this is the only way you can get it, is because you have to understand that you're speaking these things inside of your own self. Okay? I don't want, I don't like. Why do I have to do this? Why is this happening to me? Okay? Those things that we speak shouldn't be spoken inside ourselves. Okay? Is everybody getting that? Like,
I know that for a fact. because
yes.
every time-
Whenever you speak those things inside yourself, you will suffer. I guarantee it.
And you know, along with what you're saying, when I was in Thailand, I would get frustrated because I was like, I told Kim, I said, how can I remember all these things? But every time, and the tests are daily, the things that we don't want, because I told her, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, why do I have to, same thing, similar, very similar. And I would say, why do I have to? And then sure sugar, the next couple days, I would have to look at the things that I didn't like, and the universe kept putting them in front of me so Kim could help me with them and say, okay. And I was frustrated because it seemed like every time I turned around, the very thing that I didn't want to deal with was like right there. And I had to learn to accept the lesson.
Yes.
that the
And if we
universe put
never,
right in my
if we
face.
never have anything, we do not grow. Okay.
And that's
This is
exactly what you told me.
really teaching us. And no matter how we react to it, it's still going to try to teach us. Okay. Even though you don't want it, doesn't matter. Okay. You're still going to have this. Everybody does, because this is the way we learn. We don't learn, like we go to school, okay? But I went to college. Can I tell you anything that I learned in college? Very little, very little. But I can tell you how not to suffer because I do it every single day. You understand? I practice every day. I speak truth to myself. I question, is that true? With myself. Is that a truth or not? Now, how do you know? Because you don't feel good. Right? When you're telling yourself a bunch of garbage, it's not going to make you feel good. How do you know when you're speaking the truth? Because you're lighter.
Say that again?
Because you're lighter. The load has been lifted. It's heavy to speak lies to yourself. It weighs you down. And you are never happy when you're doing it. Ever. But when you speak truth to yourself, even if it's stuff you don't want to admit to yourself, somehow it lightens your load. And this is not bad. This is good. Even though, see, Master Boomney said to me, what is good is bad and what is bad is good. What you see with your eyes and hear with your ears isn't what is. And I was like, what in the hell? How is that possible? Right? But it's possible because we think of things, because we've taught to think of things. We've been taught to think of things in the negative. Why me? I don't want to have to do this. No. Oh, we've been taught how to do that very, very well. And we learned it very well. Now we're unlearning and we're learning something new. But in order to unlearn it and learn something new, we have to practice the new. So that's all that's happening right now with you, is you get to practice. So you have to speak truth to yourself. You have to say to yourself, this is not about me at all, because it's not about you at all. Do you understand that? Even though it feels like it is, it feels like everything in the world, and I'm not picking on you. I mean, this is straight across the board with everybody. We think whatever's happening is happening to us. This happened to me today. No, it didn't. It happened. But you're still here. It didn't happen to you. It happened. Everything outside of you is something that happens. Let it. Got nothing to do with you. Yeah, it's in your house. It's at your house. You're having to commune with it. So commune with it.
I have a pet spider now because it can. It's in my shower.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just look up at it. I'm like, good morning. Let it go, let it be. I don't like spiders. I was like, I guess you're my new buddy now every morning for the past week.
Yeah.
And he's gotten big.
And too, along with what you're saying, I kept asking the universe when I was in Thailand and even here. Like when I wrote down on my paper, I asked for patience. Well, I learned that when I asked for that, the universe was sure going to give me, just like the test.
Yeah.
And every day we get tests. And every time I'd ask for patience, I would get frustrated because something else would pop up and I would be frustrated by it. And then it clicked and I would go, Kim, guess what? I asked for it.
Yeah.
I asked for it. And I started laughing.
That's what happens. See, everybody in this world is on a journey, right? We're on this great adventure. It is a great adventure. We never know what's going to happen. It's always something new. Why not just embrace it? Why not just be like, okay,
Let it go,
whatever
let it be.
it is, it's okay. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's work with it. We don't have to. When we sit and we think to ourselves, I don't want, I don't like, or I want, those kind of things, that's 100% ego. And it's going to make you suffer. The wanting is a suffering. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Whatever you want, because really when we speak, I want, just like Roger said, I want to have peace, right? We don't really know what we're asking for.
I learned.
Yeah, because we speak something, but what happens is there's a process where things have to be in alignment in order for us to get what we want, what we're asking for. So we really don't know the steps that have to happen in order for us to get what it is that we're asking for. That's why I always say, be careful what you ask for.
I expected peace because when I figured that since I was in Thailand, I was at the temple and I would meditate and ask the universe for peace, that I was gonna get it because Kim was there.
But you
for
did
most-
get it.
I did, but it wasn't like, I didn't, I was trying
You
to
have to
struggle
go
feel
through, you have to go through the steps inside your own self in order to get it.
And I was expecting it because I was there to just happen because I asked for it. But every time I turned around, there was another issue that she had to teach me that would come up between us.
But it is giving you what you asked for.
I know.
But people don't understand that because they're like, no, I asked for this. Well, it's like, okay, when you go to get a new car, right? You want a new car? You can't just, I want a new car and it show up in your driveway almost now. I mean, you can go on the internet and, do what you got to do and it'll, but here's the thing. It's not automatic. There were steps that had to be taken. Like, first of all, they had to actually make the car, right? And then they had to ship it somewhere. And then, people had to put it together. And, all kinds of things had to happen in order for that car to be sitting in your driveway. Correct? It's the same thing with everything in life. It doesn't just happen. There are steps that you have to take. And the number one step is when you're having thoughts and they're creating suffering, you need to know what your thoughts are and why you're creating the suffering and how to get out of it. Right? Like, this is truth because we're the only ones that can get ourselves out of it. See, Roger's limping again. He wasn't limping, was he? No. So what happened?
I don't have no idea because we were riding back from South Carolina and the side of my bone and my foot started. I don't know. It's a different one.
Clear your mind, clear your body. You see, where we place ourselves, what we do with ourselves, will determine a lot of things in our life. We go willy-nilly. We don't pay attention to anything except for our feelings, right? Inside ourselves. We're not paying attention to anything that we need to pay attention to. We're paying attention to our feeling. I don't feel good. This isn't right. Why is this happening to me? I'm speaking everybody. Everybody does this. You're not alone. You are not alone. Like, this is where the majority of people spend their time. Do you think that's a fair statement? Inside their mind, cultivating suffering. Think about that. That's what happens because that's actually what people are doing. Whether they realize it or not, that's a whole nother story. But what they're doing is they're cultivating suffering inside their own mind. And then they're like, I don't know why I feel so bad.
Yeah.
I was cultivating suffering the other week when you called me
Yes.
and you asked me, was everything okay? I was with trauma and I lost sleep over it because I was trying to figure out what did I do? Because I've always been there for him. But, Kim was like, are you speaking truth to yourself? But I was cultivating the suffering because I was like,
No, he was angry.
yeah.
Like,
well,
he was
but-
cultivating anger. Not because you were cultivating anger. That's why. It had nothing to do with anybody else.
And it gave me suffering. But when we talked, she made me speak truth to myself. And I realized it had nothing, his anger made me angry. and I was resentful.
No, his anger did not make
Well, I
you
made
angry.
me angry because of his anger.
Look, you guys, every time you speak something like that, I'm going to correct you. Okay? Because no one can make you feel any way.
That's true.
And I know with the whole situation, really has nothing to do with Saka, really nothing to do with Daisy. It's the control factor on my part.
Yes.
And I'm really frustrated.
Oh, good for you. See, you sat here and you spoke truth. Don't get frustrated.
Well,
This
I'm
is
not frustrated with, like anybody but me because of.
I don't want you to be frustrated with you. Do you understand? Listen to me. The reason I don't want you to be frustrated with you, because what does that do?
Doesn't do anything good.
No, it creates suffering.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you feel bad. I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you guys to feel bad. It's not necessary. Like, you don't have to feel bad to feel good. Okay?
It's an unteaching too,
Yes.
to do.
Hey,
Yes.
Did you know it the whole time that it was a control issue, or did you just come up with it right now in class?
No, I've known it's a control thing. I mean, it goes back to my thing is with animals. I always said I grew up with a lot of animals in my house, and I never had the opportunity to say no, I don't want them.
Mhm.
And now as I'm older, I would say, I know I don't want them. So my control in the situation is saying, I'm not going to have an animal. I don't want to own an animal or
Yes.
live with an animal. So now the fact that decision has been
It's
taken away.
It has not been taken away. It's a temporary.
I coexist with somebody else, so it's realizing I don't have full control over my.
We
own
never have
being
full control over anything except for
myself.
our thoughts.
And-
We can, when a thought comes, we don't have control of the thought that comes in. Okay. We do not have control over that. Just let's be clear about that.
Yeah, but I have.
Okay. We don't have control over a thought entering our mind.
Only what to do with it.
Yes. We have to look at the thought that enters our mind and go, okay, what do I want to do with it? That's what you have to do. It's nothing else. You look at it. That's what I talk about meditation, quieting yourself down so you can hear your own thoughts. And then you look at your thoughts and you go, okay, is this the truth? Is this thought that I'm having true? And 99.9% of the time, if you're in suffering, it's not a truth that you're telling yourself. I would probably say 100, but people might say I'm lying. But, this is true. I'm telling you, if you can grasp this, your life will change. Okay? So you have to grasp the part of when you're in a situation, there's a situation outside of you. And then there's what you're creating in your mind. Okay? They're not the same. They're not the same because we talk a lot of junk in our mind. And then we go into a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
You know?
Live in what if.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are not truths. That's your imagination.
Yeah, I probably dreaded this weekend longer than this weekend will be.
Right, you suffer more than you
Yeah.
should.
And part of me was like, every time we had class, because I knew this was coming up, I'd be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's the situation. I don't know. It's okay just to take it moment by moment on the weekend. And then I would sit there for like another day and be like, no, I really don't want this situation to happen because one, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yes.
And two, I guarantee I'm not gonna like it. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not gonna like it.
You need to take a trip with me to Thailand because you never know what's
Yeah.
happened. You
Yeah.
never know what's
And
happening.
I'm usually okay with going with the flow with a lot of aspects of my life.
As long as it's not affecting you
As long as I can
in a negative way.
disconnect from it in a certain
So but look, I don't care about all that, because what I care about is you healing yourself. Okay? That's what you're here for, right? I know what you do because I've done it in my life, right? I get it. I understand that way of thinking. I know it because I practiced it for, years. Now I practice something different. And if you stop yourself from that thinking, this is the key. This is the key. If you stop yourself at the moment of the thought, like when you see the thought enter your mind, you feel yourself start to, no matter what it is, because we get it in different situations, Like when Roger got the gummies, Roger knew. He knew better. Inside himself, he knew. He could feel it in himself, but he did it anyway. Then he suffered, right? This is true. Am I speaking truth?
Well, yeah, because I was arguing it ever since Thailand. Now I'll say this, and this is the truth, because when I was in Thailand, before I came home, I told myself, it'll be okay. I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing cocaine, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But gummies will be okay. So I tested myself and I was wrong because.
But you knew before you ever ate it.
Yes, I did.
You knew.
But I wanted to see the effect of it.
No, you just wanted to get high. Truth is.
No, but it
Yes.
compounded way more than I expected.
Well, it doesn't matter how much it compounds.
Well, it was a lesson for me because.
Listen to me, because I want you to be clear on what it was. Okay. I want you to be clear that you made a choice.
Yes, I did.
And it wasn't, don't sugarcoat, because the sugarcoat is telling yourself a lie.
We've had that sugarcoat conversation.
And when you lie to yourself, you're actually giving yourself permission to do it again.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
I knew it
And
was-
I want you to be clear that everybody, when you decide to do something, don't sugarcoat it. Speak truth. Yeah, I decided to go get that because I wanted to get high. That's the truth. Then you set yourself free, because you can say to yourself, I wanted to get high, but I don't want the effects of when I get high, what happens. So I'm going to choose, because it's my choice, I'm going to choose not to do that. But if you say, oh no, I wanted to see what it would do. You've been smoking pot your entire life. You've done gummies before. You've done
But they
all
never
kinds
did
of.
anything.
Listen, Roger, you're not going to sit here and tell me it was just because you wanted to see what they wanted to do. Because that's a lie you're
No, I
telling
didn't want to
yourself.
catch a bus.
You wanted to get high, and that's why you did it.
And I told
Period. That's the end of the
myself,
story.
I told myself it was okay because they were gummies.
Yeah, but what's the difference?
There's not.
No, there's not. And here's the thing. If we speak only truth to ourselves, there's no gray area. There's no gray area inside yourself. Once you start just blatant truth to yourself, I don't care what you speak to anybody else. Got nothing to do with me, right?
Yeah.
But when you speak truth to yourself, you'll automatically be truthful to other people, because you're no longer lying to yourself. This is important. Like, this is the number one thing that if you get it, you'll get it.
Can we go over that thought one more time?
Which one?
As soon as it enters your mind, this is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it out of your mind.
Yeah, as soon as it enters your mind, you have to look at it. Look at what you're thinking. Look at what you're telling yourself. Like, if somebody was sitting with you, they're not. But if somebody was sitting inside your mind,
On your shoulder.
yeah, and speaking what you're speaking to yourself, would you be saying, "Oh yeah, that's true," or would you say, "No, that's crap"? And you and I both know it is.
There's a complete sentence. That's
Because when Roger was trying to tell me he just wanted to see what it would do.
And I might have spoke that more than once to you. Too.
Yeah, you did many times. And I kept saying to him, that's a lie. Stop telling me a lie. because he was lying to himself. That's what he told himself. And he believed it because he spoke it so much to himself.
We worked it up to where it was great.
And then and it happens with everybody. It's not just Roger. It happens with everybody. That's what happens is we speak untruth to ourselves enough, then we believe it. Then we're like, oh yeah, that is true. That is why I did that.
It's 100% true.
And what we're doing is we're convincing ourselves of a lie that we've been telling ourselves our entire life. And that's why such a truth is so important. That's why it's so important. It can't be a little lie, a white lie. No.
No such thing.
Like
It's
even
all lies.
the whole thing with like the control, I was like, I told you, I usually go with the flow, but I'm a super big people pleaser. I know that about myself, which is just an obscure, not even really obscure way of manipulating people.
Yes.
Because it's just giving them what you think they want, and therefore you're in control because you are what the other
Yes.
person wants. So
Yes.
therefore, oh no.
Yes. Yes. It's good. You're having a lot of things
Yeah.
come up and you
And the thing is,
understanding.
like with
Yeah.
like animals, you can't control them, and that's what I don't like.
That's right.
So
Yes.
I choose not to have them in my life.
Yes. See, everybody, they don't do it with, everybody doesn't do it with animals, but everybody does that. Okay.
I did it because I
I get
told
anxiety
Kim,
over it.
I told Kim in Thailand,
Dread it.
because I spoke it before I got unangry. I said, you know, and I said, as a Marine, which I don't say that as much anymore.
Mhm.
I said, I have to control, I have to know that I'm in control of whatever situation I go into. And Kim said, yeah, but you're not. And I was like, bullshit. You know, I have to know. I know I'm a Marine. I have to control it and know what the outcome's gonna be. And she says, you can't. And then that frustrated me because I was like, well, why not? If I look at it and I'm in control of it, I'm controlling the outcome. She said, no, you're not. And she kept putting me bumps, and I was like, well, what do you mean no, I'm not? She said, you don't know. I said, well, I'm going home in 2 weeks with Dee. She said, no, you don't know that. I was like, yes, I do. We argued on the beach, not angry.
Well, I just was like,
Oh, no,
okay,
you were
but
angry.
yeah,
Well,
you
I
were.
mean,
Yeah, you were angry. The
But-
majority of the time you were in Thailand, you were angry.
And when I went to get to the dentist to get my teeth, I said, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, this isn't gonna happen.
Dee had already went home. No, you hadn't.
I was
And I said, I know I'm not gonna be able to get it. She said, stop saying that, you don't know.
They
I was
told
like,
us
yes, I do, I can tell. But she said, and she kept putting that in front of me saying, and I learned,
It's gonna
Yeah.
work out.
I don't.
You don't know.
I
We
don't
don't
have-
know. There's
and I
too many
don't-
variables in
and I
this
don't have
world.
control over anything.
No.
But
And
I want to.
the one thing you can control
Is your thoughts.
is not, well, you
Well, no,
can't
you
control
can't
your
do that
thoughts,
either.
but you can, what you do with your thoughts, you can definitely control that. That's the only thing really you have control over,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to take that responsibility, but it will set you free. I promise you. If you guys can just, just take it minute by minute, because it seems overwhelming
Yeah.
when you do it more than, when you think about it as a long-term thing. Just 1 minute by 1 minute, just check in with yourself.
Like even just sitting here finding it hard not to come up with hypotheticals
Yeah.
of what's going to happen when I
Yeah.
come home, and it's being like, I don't know that. That's not true. That's not
You don't
true.
know. You have no
Yeah.
idea.
Having done that for 27 years, I'm finding it
Hard not to.
hard not to do it.
Yes. So it's practice.
Still
You know,
what is.
That's the only way you will overcome it. I mean, it's still every social media, every TV, all of it is training you how not to be in your own mind.
Yeah, an escape from yourself.
Yes.
Or that's what
It's
TV is.
it's
Yeah.
showing you how not to be with yourself.
Yeah.
And how not to be truthful to yourself. I mean, I'm telling you, they have an app now that encourages alcoholics to drink.
What is that?
Don't say it. I'm an alcoholic.
Well, don't get it. Don't, it's crazy. The things I see now is insane. Somebody teaching breath work, you know how much they charge to teach you how to breathe and meditate and let things go out of your body? Do you know what they're charging for that? It's ridiculous. Like $4,000 or $5,000.
Jesus.
So we were in in class this week on stress and resilience, right?
You have
And they were talking about,
That's what they were.
they were talking about, being stressful. And this man who's completely quiet all the time, he goes, yeah, or you could spend thousands of dollars just in your wife to Sedona to see a sunrise at a spa. And then he shuts up. And we're like,
Damn.
and the teacher goes, we think that maybe was a stress relief.
Yeah, because they're taking advantage of people in suffering now.
Yeah.
And that is happening a lot.
Disgusting.
So be careful. I'm going to put this out there. Be careful what you purchase as far as this goes. Because number one, if they're charging you a lot of money, they're doing it to make money.
Yes.
Okay. I know this. I have been down that route. I used to have a center. I used to charge people. Okay. I know what that is. It's a moneymaker. But I didn't know I shouldn't. And the minute someone told me you shouldn't charge for meditation, I stopped charging. Truth? These two were with me.
I still think of the day you got your teeth pulled and you start doing dance circles in the street.
I was happy. Because
So-
I didn't.
I'm going to say be careful. Be careful what you purchase. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you watch. Every single thing you put in your mind is either going to help you or hurt you. And there are also things out there that have underlying things that you are unaware of. And I have had to deal with those things. And it's not pretty when you have to deal with those things. So please be careful when you're looking for help. Yes, because there's many, many people out there that are hungry for money, and they do it just for that. And I have seen more and more. I mean, Facebook is just filled with it. It's just crazy. And I'm like, they should not be charging for this, but they do, and I am sorry that people do that. I think it's not right for the
will
people.
Pay a lot of money to find peace.
They will when it's free,
Well,
and it should be free.
Facebook, Instagram, all of them have recently got in trouble for doing subliminal messaging
Yeah.
to sell things.
Mhm.
And you said something about, don't tell me about that because I'm an alcoholic. Before I went to Thailand, and I've said this for a long time, and Tim knows because I've spoken. I said, I am not an alcoholic. I'm not, because I said it to myself, but that was a lie.
Well,
It's a
I'm going to
lie.
say this.
Because I
That's
like,
my brother, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that I'm not going to say that you're not alcoholics, but I'm going to say when you keep telling yourself that, it's giving yourself that. And I'm going to say that when you actually know your thoughts and know what and know what to do with them, that it's no longer alcohol. You are in control, and it's not.
Well, I was taught to admit that I'm an alcoholic.
Well, I know that, and we've been taught a lot of things. I'm going to say that your drinking stems from your mind.
Yeah.
And that we're taught to say that we can't do it because we're an alcoholic. It's going to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It does not have to be hard. Roger quit drinking. Was it hard?
No, not per se for the act of not drinking. But when I went to Thailand, you know, and I knew when I was sitting there having those beers with King, that his daughter didn't like it. But I wanted to drink the
Yeah.
beer with him.
And
And I like beer, I do. But I also know that when I knew I had 6 beers in the fridge when I got home from Thailand, Guinness. And I left them in there and I told myself, I'll leave these in here for my bros, so if they come to the house, I can be a good host. But every time I open the fridge, and I've got a tattoo on my back, and the monk told me not even this much alcohol.
well, not just alcohol. He
And,
told you not
yeah.
just.
Well, yeah, and the stuff, no raw meat, you know, no. And I told myself, well, I'll be a good host. I won't drink them. But every time I open that refrigerator and get a drink of milk, I was like, well, that's just a peach. That's just a peach wine cooler. It really don't have very much alcohol in it. But every time I opened it, I could feel it right here that, but just a sip, you know, I'll just cook with it. But the temptation, so one day every time, and I knew it, you know, because I felt it every time I opened the fridge. So one day you know what? Screw this. And I took every one of them out, threw them in the trash can, took them out, and got them out of my house.
Yeah.
You know,
And you see, here's the thing. Now, what he just spoke, he said he knew that he shouldn't keep them. We know our soul, like our body and this mind up here will tell you things, but your inner self knows truth. And it knows it so much that it makes you not feel comfortable when you're getting ready to do something that you know you shouldn't do. Isn't that true?
and
Yes.
I will say this. Because I made that choice to remove that from myself, and it's not because I don't have struggles. I had struggles the other week. I didn't get to see you here, but everybody witnessed me have a backslide.
Weak.
Yeah, but it was a learning experience for me because now I'm stronger, and even though the want to is probably, you know, it's still there, but I don't have to. And I'm that much stronger when I know, hey, I'm not doing it. You know, I choose not.
But here's another thing, and I'm going to say this: Roger's fighting this right now, so we're gonna cut that because he's fighting it right now. But the people that you surround yourself with, see, and it even says that in the books you read.
Yeah.
You cannot surround yourself with people who are drinking all the time or smoking up all the time or doing drugs, whatever your vice is. If you surround yourself with that, you're going to do it.
Correct.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
Yes.
But if you surround yourself with people who don't, you don't have to worry about it.
It's not their mind, it's not your mind.
Right. And your life will be so much simpler. But what happens is we make a choice to surround ourselves with the stuff that will bring us down, and then we wonder why we went down. You know, if you're gonna drink, you're gonna go down. You know, that's a given. If you're gonna do drugs, you're gonna go down. That's a given. Like it just is that, because when you're doing it, you cannot think clearly. It distorts your inner self. I'm going to say that again. It distorts your inner self. Like you are not able to think. Does anybody think that Roger was thinking clearly the other week? No, no, he was not.
That's the worst I've ever seen before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't say that I still don't have tests almost every day. I see people.
But everybody does.
Yes, but that's for life. But I see people, when I said this to myself the other day, I was like, oh wow, look at how much fun they're having. You know, they're having a beer, they're having so much fun, and here I am, and I'm not having any fun. Well, I'm not 2 years old or 16 or 18. What do I need to have that fun? Because I like music.
But is it, look,
That's a
listen,
lie.
listen to the lie. Because first of all, look, immediate, like when you even say they're having fun, the truth is they're really not. The truth is they're drinking because if they're drinking to get drunk, they're drinking because they've got some shit going on
Yeah,
inside of
yeah.
them. And that's the truth. Secondly, after they start drinking and they make a complete rear end out of their self, then they have regrets the next day when they sober up.
Yes,
And then it creates junk in your life, you know, and if you drink and drive, right?
Yeah,
You
oh,
lose
yeah.
your
Oh,
license.
yeah, I did.
If you know, it creates so much garbage. Why would you want that?
And I
It's
did-
not fun in any way,
and
really.
I did look at that because the other day I saw people listening to music and drinking, and I was like, for a split second, I thought, oh, look how much fun they're having. But then I got out of my thought and thought, why would I want to go backwards? You know, yeah, they're partying, but I don't need to party. I
What do you
other
got to
things
say,
I can do.
Kathy? It looks like you want to say something.
I think,
Nobody likes
I
to
think,
take.
I think what you're.
I'll go fishing though, and I enjoy
What
that.
you have to define what fun is anymore. It's a redefinition of, and you've got to look at each of those lives.
But
Because
look,
in your in
We
your
also
whole
don't know that
sentence, you
any
kept
of them
saying,
are
right,
having fun. We
and
don't
you're
know.
saying.
But I'm not in my 20s.
I'm going to
anymore.
venture to say, okay, what do you need? What is that fun? What are you
Right.
looking for? Like there's something that you're searching for because you're like, oh, I need to have fun. I need to go have fun.
Well, I saw people
Conversation
smiling
line.
and stuff, and I was like, oh, they're happy and having fun.
This is
But I didn't know how
when
to
we're not okay with ourselves and just being, you know, like, yeah,
A lot of times what you really gotta look at is, with meditation, what I've noticed so far, you see the main problem, or not really the main problem, you see the side effect of the problem, which is we're all unhappy. Something's going on in our life, we're unhappy. You meditate to slow yourself down to figure out what's causing that unhappiness. The root cause.
Well,
Then
really,
you
you're
sit there and
meditating.
Meditate to figure out how to correct the
well,
root problem.
you meditate so that you can actually see what you're speaking inside yourself.
Right.
You know, that's the purpose in meditation, is to see what you're speaking,
But as you're
number
doing it,
one.
you also
And
find the
then-
root cause.
Yeah, well, the cause is your thought. Okay, it's always your thought. There's no other cause.
Yeah, but then you actually find what thought it is.
Yes, exactly.
Technically,
Yes.
you're still finding the root cause.
And then you take that thought and you speak truth into it.
Right.
You know, it's not just seeing the thought, because you see the thoughts all the time, but you go with them. You know, it's actually seeing the thought and then what am I going to do with it?
Well, I
Yeah.
struggled with the whole phrase of, and even when I read it in the book, dependent origination.
Mm-hmm.
I
Can you
struggled-
hit those lights over there?
I struggled with it a little bit because even though I was reading it, it didn't click in my mind until we came back to the States and we started having meditation class again. And we were all sitting here and talking, and Kim goes, dependent origination, it depends on the thought, because it originates from the thought, and then it clicked, you know, depends on the thought, and it originates in your mind,
Yeah.
and then it clicked for me, because even though I read it, I was struggling with understanding.
Yeah.
And then even though, I had 3 months with her, when I come to the class and she's explaining it to you guys, I still get the benefit from the whole way, because it helps me to understand what she's talking about when I struggle with it myself.
So this is, you have to, like, it's so important. The thought, you know, speaking truth into yourself. Like today, yeah, it's number one. And today, Anna came in, and I knew immediately that's what this class was going to be about.
Oh, I dreaded the whole car right here because I also knew I was like, I can't escape this. I can't. I'm gonna have to deal with it. I've been running from it for.
Yes, but
2
look,
months, really. But-
now it's calming down, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
calming down because we're speaking truth. Like, it's so important to speak truth to yourself. And you cannot, like, if you look outside yourself and blame it on something outside of you, the reason you're suffering, I don't care if you got a dog sleeping in your bed or not, right? The dog is not creating your suffering.
It's 100% me, and it's that lack of control. And I know what makes me so angry, and this frustration, and this conflict is, it's like I'm gonna have to follow my sword and just accept the fact she's in my bed,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have to just be okay with that. And that's really hard because like my ego is like, no,
Yeah, but-
You just lied
Well,
to
well,
yourself.
again, it's not hard. It's a choice that
But
I'm gonna have to make.
here's the beauty of it. You see it.
And now I know it. And before I was like, blame it on everything
Yes,
else.
and
Why do I have to do this? Why does this
Yeah.
happen? And now I'm like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And the thing is also, I don't have to make that choice of what's gonna happen because I'm here right now.
Yes, yes.
And that'll be
And
whenever that
automatically, look, it once, this is the crazy thing, okay? But it's truth. Once we actually speak truth into ourselves and maintain truth going through us at all times, right? The suffering stops. Just like that. Just as quick as it entered, it leaves. You know, Roger had said the other week, he's like, yeah, 3 months, and I threw it all away. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can't unknow what you were taught. You already know it.
Correct.
You know, you
And
can't.
that's true. It helped. That did help me because I did get discouraged because I was in my own. I
But
was in my
you
own
but it does no good. That's not
No, it doesn't.
the purpose. And they're not mistakes, they're teaching. Like he did something that taught him. He knows he doesn't want to do it anymore, right? You don't want to do that again. So good
Right.
teaching. You know, everything in life is teaching us. If we let it, we can use it. Use it as a tool. Okay, I got that lesson this time. I don't need to do that again. Because they always come back until you get it. Right?
Yeah.
The lessons always come back to you until you actually have an understanding inside yourself and you know it. And then it doesn't come anymore.
And I was
You're
very
finished
good
with
at
that.
blaming, because I would say, Kim would say, why are you angry? And I said, well, if you stop asking
Yeah.
me,
It was my fault. So
But I was angry anyway.
Yes.
And she said, you've been angry your whole life, but I didn't want to accept that fact, but it's truth.
yes,
And there's a lot of truths, because that is the first one, because there's a lot of things that helped me was I would hear Kim in my head and I would ask myself that same, because she didn't do anything but ask me a question, is that true? So I started hearing her in my head and asking myself, is that truth? Am I speaking truth to myself?
and if you do that every single time, no matter what it is, it can be the smallest of smalls. Okay? Don't think a little white lie is okay. No, it's not, because that will grow into a big one. Okay? That's the truth. It grows. If you tell yourself a lie, it's going to grow. But my point was that when he said that to me, and I said, no, this was just learning. This was just teaching. These are not for, like, everything that happens in our life is not for us to get down on ourselves. It's for us to understand how to live life,
Yeah.
you know? And the thing of it is that everybody in the world is the same. We think everybody's different. They're not. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Don't worry. Don't get hard on yourself because something happened. Use that something happened to better it. Like, okay, I got it this time. Like this time you got it, right? You understand. This was my ego. I was trying to control, blah, blah, blah. You understand it, right? 100%. You got it, right?
In this exact moment, sure, 5 minutes now.
Well, you don't know what
I
you're
don't
going to do
know.
5 minutes from
Because
now.
in this moment, I understand the root of it. I understand.
Yes, you
where that's
understand.
coming from.
That
Yes.
was the question, right?
Yes.
She's living in the now.
That was the question.
Yes.
Right now, you understand it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when another thing comes up, you can stop yourself. That's why this is happening. You can say to yourself, aha, I've had this happen before. I know what this is. And I can conquer it because I've already been through it. You understand? Like this, we all can do this. This is this is how it teaches us. And then we can move on to the next thing. It's never ending. So, there's always something else. But that's what's great about this life. I mean, if it were the same thing, it would be very boring. But here we live in this life that it's exciting. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know anything really other than what our thoughts tell us. So we can look at those thoughts and be like, what's truth? This moment in time. We don't know tomorrow what will happen. We have no idea. Yesterday is imaginary.
Right. You can't remember.
It's
exactly
imaginary.
what it was.
Yesterday is imaginary. The future is imaginary. Is it not? Like we can't see either one of those really.
Correct.
So the only thing that is real is this moment in time. That's all we really have. It's crazy to think about. People can't, it's a hard thing to grasp.
It's a very
Simple.
ego thing too, for me, like the past is imaginary, but then all I have to say is, what do you remember? What do you remember about the same situation? And then
Right.
we're saying,
Right.
and so.
It
the
is
ego
imaginary.
going, I know what it is, Kathy, you were there, you know what it is, and the ego, and you're going, okay, but everybody else sees it, it's a
Right.
perspective.
Exactly.
But on that imaginary thing,
Yes.
part of it, it's just like when I was reading in the book, and it never clicked for me before as far as, because it was talking about ignorance. And I thought ignorance meant stupid. But it doesn't, because we ignore what's right in front of us.
Mhm.
And that's where the ignorance comes through. And it's the same thing that you're saying, because it just clicked when you said that
Mhm.
about imagine, because we're imagining what happened yesterday.
Mhm.
We're imagining, and because I was thinking imaginary, that means make believe. Well, no, it doesn't just make it. We're imagining what's ahead of us or behind us. And it's not make believe.
It's not here.
But we're imagining.
Yes.
We're thinking about it.
Yes,
And
we're
that's where
thinking.
it just clicked for me just
Mhm.
now.
Doesn't mean it never happened. No, whatever it is, it happened. If it happened, it happened, right? But it's not happening now. And it will never, ever happen again in that same way. It's impossible. You can try to relive it,
Right.
but
Your mind takes over.
it cannot, it will never be the same because it's not the same moment in time. So whatever it is that happened previous, it happened previous, but it can never happen again. It'll happen differently if you allow it to come in and, but it never happens the same way twice. Now you can argue that if you want to, but you're not the same as you were 2 minutes ago. So it can never happen the same. It's never, ever the same. Nothing. We imagine it to be the same. Oh, I want to do the same thing I did last year. I'm going to go to the same place I went. But it's never the same. Is that true or not? Yeah. Because we imagine and we think about it, what we did, what we want to do, what we have done. But we don't know. See? You know, 12 years ago, my mom was alive. Today, she is not. Nothing's ever going to be the same as it was. You understand? Like, things in this world just go. And we can't bring it back to that same moment in time. It's impossible. So all we really have is this moment. And if we're present in this moment, our world changes. But most of the time we're thinking about either the future or the past. Rarely are we here in this moment. Think about that.
Yeah.
We miss so many things because we're not here present. You know, it's funny, but it's not funny. You know, I see it all the time. I watch people and I'm like, oh man. And I see like little kids and things they're doing, and everybody's oblivious, you know, they have no idea. And I'm like, oh, they just missed that. You know, and it'll never happen the same way again. That's why let it go, let it be is so important.
I didn't like that saying when she said
No.
it at first either.
I did.
Definitely
Well, I know you
prefer
did, but I didn't.
Roger didn't like most of everything that I said. I mean, straight across.
Well,
he
Big
was
D
like-
there.
He was like, no. And I was like, okay. I would say, you know, he would be like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, okay.
And then she'd say, okay. And he was like, why are you just saying okay? Like, fight me.
And I'm like, because it's okay. You'll see. I mean, you know, what else do I need to say?
He
So-
wanted the hard way every time.
Yes. So that's the way. If we can stay in this present moment, if we can know our thoughts, our life can be different and will be different if we do that. But this whole class tonight has been on one thing: truth.
Sit
Truth.
in the shower and stay in that moment.
Yeah.
And
True.
you know, that staying in the moment was a struggle for me too.
Yeah.
It's
Because
definitely an exercise.
I wanted to be able to be in control of what tomorrow was gonna happen or day, but now I live most of the time, I'm in the present moment, and it feels good to be in the present moment. 'Cause
Yes.
My mind wanders a lot less to the what ifs or the what am I gonna do or not do.
So tonight for meditation, I'm going to do, we may do two, and we got to do them now because it's already a little bit after 8:00.
Okay.
So the first one I want to do is I want to teach, some of you already know this, but I don't think you three know it. And that's walking meditation.
Oh,
Did I teach you that?
no.
Okay.
Your buddy-
So we're gonna
Oh,
do,
me?
Nick.
okay, so we're gonna do it. And I'm gonna show you, I'm not sure if I'll be able to, I don't know. All right, so what we need to do is maybe move that table that way. And you're gonna have to get up
I was just moving it.
and we'll move this
Give it
into
straight.
the room. And
Okay, this one?
And so, I think maybe we can get everybody on this, so I'm gonna move this over there. The class. All right, I'm gonna move this. And then, we can, I think we can line up right here. Just line up right here, and we might need to move these chairs so that we have more space.
Sorry if I stick out of the number. And eat crabs.
In a creek and eating crabs, that's a double win.
That was my thing.
Okay, so
I am sunburned.
You do.
All right, we can push this forward a little bit so that we have a little bit more room.
He's got a
Okay.
back call.
All right, so we are going to, what I want you guys to do is when you stand, you're gonna put your left hand over your right like this, okay? And you just have it right here. And then we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be a slow process, okay? And let me just say this, when we do it, if you can concentrate on your body, you won't do this. But the minute your mind goes out of this, you'll do this, okay?
I can testify.
And what this is trying to teach you is to be aware of every movement that you have. And it will bring you into, like if you have a thought that's not here, it's going to make you do this, okay? And so if you're present, then you're feeling all of this and you're able to do it in a smooth motion, okay? It's rhythmic. So, and it's okay if you do this because everybody does it, all right? So I'm gonna say heel up. And when I say heel up, that means you're gonna do like this. Heel up.
Right or left foot?
We're gonna start with the right. And we're gonna do heel up. And then we're gonna say lifting, moving, placing, touching, pressing. There's 6 of them. Okay? So, and when you do that, but when we first start out, we're gonna say standing, 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 because you're making yourself aware of what you're doing. Intending to walk, because you're making yourself aware that you're going to walk, okay? And then when we start, that's when we do that. And then when we stop, we're standing, 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 intending to turn. And when we turn, we're going to say turning, 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 turning. We do it 3, okay? So, and I'm going to say it out loud, so don't worry, all right? Here we go.
And it does help if you say it in your head when she
Yeah.
says it.
You can say it out loud with me, I don't care. Heel up, up, standing, 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 intending to walk, intending to walk, intending to walk. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing, touching, pressing. 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 Standing, 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 intending to turn, intending to turn, intending to turn, turning to the right, turning, 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 intending to walk, intending to walk, intending to walk. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing, touching, pressing. Heel up, lifting, moving, placing, touching, pressing, 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 standing, 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 intending to turn, intending to turn, intending to turn, turning, 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 standing, standing, standing. Okay. Everybody got that? Like, you think you can do it at home by yourself?
Yeah. I'm gonna fall.
Yeah, you told me pretty good.
Yeah. I was trying not to knock me over. I was like, you'll get it.
So, no, that was actually good. You guys did really good, actually.
You sit in a
So-
Pittsburgh with they have like stones.
Yeah.
That was a whole different
We
moment.
did it on the
So,
outside too. That was
When
hard
your
too.
mind is restless and you can't, like, if you go to meditate and you just can't because your mind is just going crazy on you,
Completely take
do
that all
this.
out. Yeah.
Because this will take you back. It will calm your mind, your body, everything, because you first of all start to ground yourself and you're bringing your body and your mind together. Okay? Make sense? Yeah.
Makes you focus on just.
Cause I was wobbling this, but then
It's
I
okay.
slowed myself
We've
down.
done this for hours and I was still like, woo.
Yeah. It's it takes a bit of time, and the thing of it is when your mind goes somewhere else, when you start to have a thought about something and you're not bringing yourself into your body, it's a wobble, and it makes you think, okay, I gotta think about what I'm doing. It's good. It's a good practice because we very rarely do we think about. I mean, that's actually what we do when we walk. We lift up our foot, we move it, we touch it, we press it, that's what we do. But we don't think about what we're doing. We just do it because we've done it for so long. But when our mind gets really crazy, most of the time we'll trip over something because we're not paying attention, So this will help you in all aspects if you let it, and you can conquer things with this because your mind will be going crazy, but if you bring it here, this is a good tool to use. And I use it a lot, actually.
And she means like your mind's going crazy, like when you're stuck in a thought, you can't get past that thought, and then all these other thoughts go inside, you can't get your mind right, that's what she means. You cancel that out and you think just about this.
That's my everyday life.
Yeah, well, that's what this is for, is
Yeah.
to escape that.
What I'm actually saying is with my disorder, I actually have 20 to 30 thoughts all at the same time.
We all,
Everybody does.
yeah, we
And
all.
listen, don't own that. I'm going to say to you, just like I said to him, you guys are speaking into yourself something and you're making yourself believe, not that you don't have it, but when we own it like that and we say, okay, this is me, that's not you. That's something that happens, but it's not you. And you can do something about it. I had ADHD so bad that they said it was the worst case they'd ever seen. I don't take any medication and I can focus like you wouldn't believe. And the reason why is because I practice in my own mind and this all the time. So don't tell yourself that you have something that can't be fixed. Okay? Don't say that to yourself. That's what you were saying to yourself,
No,
but that's what
technically mine is a chemical.
that's what
response,
they tell you, yes.
And my body does not produce the chemicals that it
That's exactly what they tell you, because I'm gonna tell you, they want to keep you on medication for your entire life. They said the same thing to me. They said ADHD cannot be cured. You're gonna have to, it's a chemical imbalance, you have to stay on medication your entire life. And I was like, watch me. Because they want to keep you under control, you know? And I understand that you do have, I'm not saying it's not a chemical imbalance, but a funny thing happens with you when you do this. It changes your chemicals inside yourself. So they don't want to tell you that because they want to keep everybody paying money. Big pharmaceutical companies want to keep everybody paying money. But honestly, when you do this, it's changing chemicals inside your body. And it's been done for a very long time. This is ancient, you know, and it's amazing. The Western world hasn't embraced it like the other countries have. Just about every other country teach it in school. They teach meditation to the little children. When I go to Thailand, I go into the kindergarten, they go into meditation, samadhi.
And I didn't think, before, I was telling Kim, when I was trying to meditate, I said, I don't want these other thoughts. And she told me, because I was trying to control my thoughts. I thought to meditate, I had to have no thoughts. Because that's what I was trying to do, but that ain't the way it works. But I was trying to do that. And she said, you can't control your thoughts. And I was thinking, well, yes, I can, but I couldn't. And then I got frustrated when I was trying to meditate because these thoughts kept popping in there. And I didn't like it. But as I focused and I started breathing,
Okay, I'm
when I
gonna,
focused on my breathing.
yes. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you next week.
And not the thoughts. And then I started hearing my heart